stone, like there's a key beneath it.
This must be for the front door. We'll just have to go in and see.
That isn't just a five-pointed star. It's an inverted white pentagram cradled in a wreath. The star and antlers was developed in the 6th decade, even today, half a century after, to symbolize the toppling of the also some social. The wreath of antlers represents a natural crown. It was about building because white is the color of peace, smug superiority, aesthetic. This door has been closed with a pad. It's a solid lump of metal, but better whip out those cutters. You won't get very far otherwise. No reply. You hear someone walking around and the walking stops abruptly. You can feel tension on the other side. A poor communard from the looks of it. The room is barely bigger than a closet.
Let's go. We don't have a reason to get inside the dub.
It's generally easier to do things if you have literally any reason. A poor communard from the looks of it.
Give me a moment. The cold never does any good for my bronchitis. I'm fine now.
She's the cleaning lady. She knows the floor plan and the resident. Somewhere in the building. What was so funny about it?
Thank you. We should...
She hasn't spoken to anyone. She mumbles some kind of a response. You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the... There's no sweet talking your way in there. You have plenty of reason to enter. Well, that was it.
That was smart.
Satisfied? My name is Marielle Charpentier, and I'm an agent with Martinez Realty Associates. I am not breaking in, as I have every right to be here. The keys, see? Do you want to see my ID as well? You can't legally ask for it, but why not? Want to see my residence permit too? Thank you. Do you have any questions? I need to be back in Midtown in an hour. I need to get it ready for the next lease, but as you can see, the previous tenant completely trashed the place. It was some kind of a moribund old man who used to be a business owner. You'd think they'd make rent.
A sudden serious look crosses her face. This story...
But that was months ago. Anyway, was there anything you wanted, or is that it? Oh, that's another huge mess. The former tenant owes us 3 months of rent. 3. We closed the apartment and planned on auctioning off the valuables, but... And again, I have no idea how stupid mistakes like this can even happen. But Ron, when he came to close the door, didn't close the neighboring door. And there's a hole in the wall. Can you believe it? And then the tenant ran off with his stuff. He's gone. The money's gone. Just like that.
The sum must have been puny.
Well, it does not disappear from my hands. No, I don't let it. These apartments are perfectly fine. They have gorgeous architecture, a million-real view of the bay, good ventilation, neighbors. I'll tell you, Martinez has a future. In a few years, it's going... Don't ask me what happened with the wall. I have no idea how we're going to find the time or Both apartments are now unrentable. Both. Of course.
Give me a moment.
She means clairvoyance. Ruination has come. The broken arches betray the once grand history of this building. It towered over the harbor until it happened. A great force from the northeast fired into the city. Heavy artillery shelled the coastline, fired from the water. A straight shot in the tenement acted as a defensive wall against the worst of the shelling until it was destroyed, and they had a direct firing line. The waves of the Martinez Inlet rolled over the fallen remains of the building. The dark waters obscured the better part of the room. What didn't fall into the ocean was used as scrap. What wasn't used as scrap was thrown into the ocean. Those arches acted as support for something greater than what you see now. Only 3 stories stand where 9 to 12 once did. Restoration has failed. What the shilling? A fleet. The combined armies of Occident and Grad. They massed airships further down in the Bay of Revachol. The artillery was so powerful. Many are still there to this day. If you squint, you can just barely see the shadow on the water. Far Coalition warship Archer can shoot 50 shells a minute on 20 co-aligned archers. They will reach
The Coalition. But that was a long time ago. I think we should move on. It's chilly up.
The streets will flow red one.
The streets will not...
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C. And here I was trying to be polite.
that smell coming from her paint bucket. It's not paint, it's heavy fuel oil.
Red-dyed heavy fuel oil, intended for exclusive use in government vehicles, to be precise.
What did you think I was using? Aquarels? Sucked it out of a cop's fuel tank myself. Back in Jamrock. Something to think about next time you're driving around in your pretty little piggy carriage. Can't you tell? I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting. Have you ever tried your... We rarely see pigs round this place. I thought I'd mix it up. Yeah? Lying is cool, I guess. I ain't no snit.
Actually,
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant.
She nods disdainfully. Hatred?
That Ozon her. Someone's got to keep an eye.
Ozon is an archipelago. 2 days.
probably the wild... You should take the lead.
Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Watch your back. Hello again, officers. Ooh. Not only have you found my address...
She does have eyes that seem to be smeared with coal.
Does anyone in a city like this? Yes. I keep hoping a shaft will come. It doesn't have to do anything at all. Shoot, Piggy. It's what you do.
Lonesome, long way home. Here we go. Home awaits. Walk past Station 41 and through the market, past the Boogie Street spearhead to the other side of the lake, the frozen eye at the center of the district. Then, past the... This door is made of metal and appears to be reinforced. Someone here really values this. Number 28. This is where the cleaning lady said the smoke.
Let's see if anyone's home.
No one answers.
Looks like the young man we are looking for isn't home. I think our best chance to catch him is in the evening. We should return tomorrow after we have finished with our day's work. How about 9 p.m.? Sound good? Tomorrow, 9 p.m., right here. Apartment number 28. Good, let's go.
Damn. Turns out it's quite tricky finding someone in a big apartment building. Don't worry. Remember, tomorrow, he's probably gone for today.
Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the... I'm glad to... I was just...
That is good to hear, madame.
There's a trace of irony in his voice. Mischief, even. This is a tactic.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
It's hard to get a read on her precise disposition, but she appears helpful.
What we do.
There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent.
The pine, and that is the... Why, thank you. I'm not at... And to think, Wild Pines employ 72,000 people, all of whom they started. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. You know more than you let on. You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo? We built this district.
We. There it is.
All the best parts of it. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, before Martinez was swallowed by a company getaway. For a week...
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
Why, yes I am. The boat? No. It is called... It's a pleasure craft. It's a pleasure craft. My sloop?
I'm enjoying this part.
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman.
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around? I mean, we are on Le Caillou, are we not? I haven't seen...
Actually, that motor carriage has been special. It's for
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine...
You need to make this lady admit you have the guns and the ammo. Take this class and fit.
Officer.
The crowns of her teeth are possible.
Oh my. The E word. You mean to say that it's a symbol of conspicuous consumption?
Detective, may I remind you?
Then what does that say? 33A? This old proletarian haunt here? Yes. Anyway. Good. Quite a few... The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive...
Of course, ma'am. And this is my...
How curious. Why is that, Detective? I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? Oh dear. I do believe you.
As I said, ma'am.
Of course, I sympathize.
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutual... I mean, consider this. Perhaps she has been planning it all along. That you convinced yourself easy. Just up...
I will be frank with you.
You're in. But...
Reports from it, the company has all...
Detective, a word in private before... This is not going... Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off. This was...
Maybe this is all her plan. She might have heard about you.
No. If there is reasonable... What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate. Briefly. But do not share the outcome. Oh.
The situation might have changed drastically.
You could request a new one from the station, but that would literally take months. I wouldn't go that far. Her reaction did come off as sincere to me. Yes. Knowing this does not really change our
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? What would you like to know? Oh my, the E word. You mean to say that it's a
Detective.
Then what does that 33A? This old proletarian hall. Yes. Anyway. Oh my. The
Detective.
Then what does that 33A? This old proletarian haunt here? As I said, yes. Anyway. Good. Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secret, I believe.
And how are the talks?
They're not.
Wait, she just admitted that the lynching and the strike are connected.
Now they won't even let me into the harbor. There's a 2-meter 20 racist behemoth blocking the gates. Yes, I believe there is a connection. But that's...
She's resolute in this, yet you sense that she wants to tell you. You'll have to earn her trust first.
What can I say? The youth, let's say...
And when did you first...
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on...
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here.
This isn't the first time
Heavens, no. There have been 2... Mr. Fuck off, midget. Go Monty's short... Yes. Keep in mind, there are leaflet every worker.
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
In its defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared. Fortunately, they explained it. Just so you understand, this is but one of... They're having a... I'm not sure. And now...
Excuse me. From whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first...
This checks out.
The scab.
Don't let her answer it herself.
If these strikebreakers were organized by...
It's implied. She's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
Everard Clare is... Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. He is the most corrupt... Yes. Edgar looks... It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see. With a fun... The débardeurs organized...
A mob.
Refreshingly on... And your opinion, detective? If I may ask. I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the débardeurs union is... Indeed. And a hungry one. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what... I'm glad you asked.
Disappeared?
Yes.
This forewoman, her name?
Sadly, the company records do not even give a name. She's just forewoman in private correspondence. Holly. I don't even know if it... Indeed. The point of the...
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help?
Is what you want. Look at that lady. Take a... Positively statuesque. These are the kind within reason. Now look at you. Oh, but you are.
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask. Of course, Detective. You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Voila! You're doing it.
Of course. How much do you need?
She's surprisingly nonchalant about this. Could it be that she somehow knows more about your predicament than she's letting on?
That's a good sum. Not too small.
There must be about 200 real if that's a bag. Maybe a little less. Plus some... Whoa, whoa! Did you see how easy that was? Ask her for more. Toot toot, train to Moneytown.
This may seem like odd behavior for a police officer, ma'am, but it's a perfectly unusual medical episode.
It's all right, Lieutenant. I really did bring as little cash with me as possible, so I hope I didn't just bribe you, officer. It may not be technically illegal under the Emergency Act, but still.
You're right, ma'am, that donations are permitted under the Emergency Act, unseemly as it may be, as long as they're properly logged with the precinct.
Which he most certainly will do. Now, how else? It's quite straightforward.
Ingredients for what?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff. Yes, after they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at various sites.
Wild Pine seems to be well up.
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. Yes, after they clear the terminal, we lose track.
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug.
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce it. Yes, but you...
The handoff. The motor lorries at the roundabout.
Precisely. Someone needs to move the ingredients from the harbour into the city. Once they reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers well beyond our grasp. But in transit, they're vulnerable. Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. One of them might be waiting for a crucial shipment.
Her irises are light green, like the river Esperance in bright daylight.
I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company...
Uncovering Union secrets could also give you an upper hand when dealing with them.
No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of ours. This is a limited time opportunity. Thousands of litres of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Revachol.
Well, at least this...
What is that, Lieutenant?
Why I had to call East Motor Track and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first drove in. On my
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity. I'm sure you understand. How do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands...
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy.
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents... Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely. Then loaded onto lorries and...
It sounds like she tried looking into it herself, though she's clearly not the type you're...
We did. On more than one...
We know the company has launched its own...
Well, here's your chance, officers. Yes? Excellent. According to my reports, there are at least 3 lorry drivers lingering near the roundabout. Hopefully one... It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. I can keep the drawbridge up for a few more... In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance. You're back. Good. What would you like to know? Oh my. The
Detective.
Then what does that 33A? This old proletarian... You're back. What would you like to know? Oh my.
Detective.
Then what does 33A? This old prolet...
Your synapses flesh.
You mean Eel's hips? But point taken. I am a bourgeois woman, and this is my fast, light, interminably bourgeois boat. Oh my.
Detective.
Then what does that 33A? This old proletarian haunt. Yes. Anyway. Good.
The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular, sword-wielding barbarian on the cover. Nearly all the titles contain the word Hyundai somewhere. Mountains of it. Heroic quantities of Hyundai. Roy's puny shirt is nothing compared to the real deal. Rows and rows of Hyundai men blur your vision. You make out some titles. Man from Hyundai and the Mammoth Riders. Man from Hyundai, Return to Hyundai. And the solipsistic Man from Hyundai and the Hyundai Man. Maybe 100. Man from Hyundai and the sages at the end of the world. Man from Hyundai and the false god. Not even close. Man from Hyundai in hell. Man from Hyundai and the forest of slaves. Man from Hyundai under the lake. Man, a twinge at the back of your head makes you flinch. Your eye starts twitching. Your hand reaches toward a book with glossy cover art of the very muscular Man from Hyundai in chains, kneeling in front of a staircase leading to a throne. A woman sits on the throne, leering at the man. She's laughing at him, belittling him. Between the throne and the Hyundai man lies a bonfire, casting shadows on the wall. The shadow of the woman's headdress looks like a pair of devil horns. The title reads, Man from Hyundai and the Devil Woman. Especially those leering types who seem to wear nothing but an armored bikini. There's also some sort of a snake lizard beast slithering around her abdomen. It's symbolic of vice and sin. The display rack before you is burdened under piles of Man from Hyundai novels. A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by Wirral-related merchandise. An endless variety of source books, lore books, and codices litter the table. The topmost book is titled Welkin Compendium. There's also a large hardbound tome with intricate cover art, The Hunters of Catawak, Boreal Creature Compendium, and a pick-your-path adventure game book titled Tales of Wirral, Cavern of Velcro. Books in a board game section? Who wants to read books? There's a box that says Wirral, 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplements Module. The side panel notes, a fantastique adventure board game, new maps and miniatures. A sticker on it displays, that price is steep, but then it's the 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplement, so it makes sense.
Wonderful board games, sir. The Viticulturist is a classic for sure, or perhaps you'd like Archipelagos of Insulinda, a very educational game for the... Ralbritta is a fun game of economic competition, but can get quite intense after...
Who are you going to play board games with? Do you have friends or family? Are you actually friends, or just colleagues thrown together by circumstance?
Friends are technically like family. For playing with friends, I'd recommend Suzerainty. It's a civilization building game where you build a civilization, then set off to brutally colonize and repress other civilizations. It'll cost 12 real. Lousy auras there. No, role-playing games are popular among those types. You know, who are into those kind of things. Personally, I don't like it. Not at all. I've heard they turn people into occult enthusiasts. That they have rituals where they try to summon entities.
You see a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to another room. A strange cage-like trinket dangles from the curtains.
Excuse me, officer. The back room is strictly for employees only. Nothing. Now please go back to browsing the books. Don't you feel compelled to look at the books? The books are all you care about.
She speaks almost as if she's trying to put us... Oddly enough, the more she tries to draw you away from the curtains, the more alluring they become. You see some kind of charm, an irregular polyhedron assembled from bones, sticks, and straw. Inside, a disturbing fish head with empty eye sockets. This is a traditional Seminese ward, meant to provide protection against ill luck, bad dreams, curses, and other supernatural scourges. Inhabitants of Ile de Fantôme, the Seminine Islands, dance. Aside from poking at it suspiciously, there is nothing else to do with the fish head charm. These shelves are overburdened with books from the same series. You see the name Dick Mullen. Oh, a couple of spook novels hide amidst all the detective books. Thrilling tales of spycraft and daring-do.
Oh, crime, robberies, murders, even sexual crimes. We're fortunate to have Dick Mullen and his stories to sort all. You're a police officer, apparently. You should buy all of these. They really do teach a person how to be a proper detective.
Crime fiction is a disgrace. An asinine misrepresentation of the physical attributes of the arduous everyday work of actual police officers. These books greatly overstate the excitement of police work, glossing over how long it takes to actually follow up on leads and eliminate. What's more, they completely ignore the psychological hardships of year after year coming into contact with people during the worst days. Not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction just doesn't tell the truth at all. Now, would you like a... You see, Dick Mullen on the job. Get me Mullen. The stalwart adventures of Richard P. Mullen. Dick Mullen and the murder in the orchard. The sordid affair of Dick Mullen. A killing is declared. Dick Mullen in the murder house. The final case of Dick Mullen. An obvious lie. Dick Mullen in the clock tower. The ordeals of Dick Mullen. Dauntless Dick. Dick Mullen's funeral pyre. The murder of Dick Mullen. Oh no, turns out he fated to solve a case. Yes, there's also the dame who did it. Farewell, my Mullen. Faking death seems to be a common trope in the Mullen series. The morbid tales of Dick Mullen. A dark tide turns. Tragedy calls for Dick Mullen. Another one with fake death. And, of course, Dick Mullen, the murderer. In order to catch a murderer, Dick Mullen must become the murderer. After all this, you still haven't found the answer to the one question that matters. Who is Dick Mullen? Shelves filled to the brim with crime novels featuring your quick eye notices a small caterpillar crawled, a worn paperback from Dick Mullen's classic hard-boiled phase. The premise seems to be that Dick Mullen is framed for the murder of his best friend and has just a few days to prove his innocence. Could it be the motifs of unstable identities and shocking betrayals? Then this is the book for you. The plaque on the shelf reads, Biographies of Famous People. You see a large variety of names, none of which ring a bell.
I would say... The Greatest Innocence. Yes, most certainly. It's an important educational tool delving into the depths of history, religion, and their relation to innocentic power. A very influential historical figure, but surely I don't have to tell you that. You're a law officer. The book is also very daring. The author aims to re-examine the universal understandings of the innocentic system, creating a fresh vantage point and a shift in the tired order of things. Perhaps for a layman, deep analysis is necessary to peel back the multi-layered...
Do her words seem vague and abstract to you?
Certainly. It's prudent for a person to have at least an elementary understanding of history and society. Imagine the chaos we'd be in otherwise.
You feel like you should get this one? Definitely. It's important somehow. There's something personal inside. Browsing through all the books with all their names makes your head spin. None of these seem important or relevant. It's all just vapid egoism. Suddenly, a particularly odd title catches your eye. It reads, High-Speed Love, the tragic true love story of Jacob Irv and Alfie Delatraz, by one Cecilia Averbrook. High-Speed Love chronicles the romance between two of the finest tip-top tourney racers in history. One of them is the madcap driver, Jacob Irv. His blonde mane graces the cover. Next to Irv's life story, you see a slim biography of an Occidental rock star called the Anti-Star. He's famous for shooting morphine into one of his eyeballs and cocaine into the other. Next to that, Revacholian radio personality Guillaume Bevy stands in front of a rundown drug den. He's a permanent fixture on Channel 8, reporting on real-life crime and ruining cops' days.
I really must insist you buy one of the books. Reading them is not for free. Do still browse though, but not too long.
She understands she has erred against the customer and immediately corrects.
I'm sorry, I did not mean to rush you. You are browsing. Go ahead. Take your time. Time is commerce.
This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature.
Sir, please, no browsing in that shelf. That wisdom is not for free. I can't have you end up like...
Amidst the various books, you find one written by someone named Matthias W. Dundas. It's about wholeness, unity, balance. The point of the book, and many others on this shelf, is to give people medicinal advice in situations where they don't have access to paid health services. It serves platitudes, while also telling everyone that traditional medicine, the kind people don't have access to and which costs more than this book, is garbage and would only give you cancer anyway, without even curing your cold or anything. Wholeness, unity, balance, on the other hand, can basically take care of anything. Though it is when it's up to your mind to heal yourself, then it's because of your mind that you're ill in the first place. The book features chapters on topics such as how to find magnesium. It even lists plants you can harvest magnesium from. How to continue drinking if you're an alcoholic who has destroyed his liver. And there's even a chapter on the ancient Seraïs tradition of using duck gallbladder preservatives to treat and prevent sexually transmitted diseases. Pre- and post-fact. This is just mundane garbage. What's even paranatural about this? The throbbing in your head increases with every passing moment. Suddenly, as if out of nowhere, a small green book becomes apparent. The title of it reads, Medicinal Purposes of the Pearl. The book contains very little explanation on the matter. This knowledge seems to be taken for granted. The book contains descriptions of various pseudoscientific therapies, alternative medicines, and folk remedies involving the pearl, also known as le territoire. For example, it recommends vigorously swatting one's naked body with a venik or hand broom, made from the leafy twigs of a young birch tree from the near pearl. It is, and good for the circulation too. It also recommends consuming distilled spirits like vodka or whiskey that have been aged in the pearl. Readers are instructed to cover these jars in a shallow hole just inside the pearl and leave them there for 30 to 60 days, depending on the potency desired. Among other benefits, it is alleged to restore a damaged liver to perfect health. That seems improbable. For general health and well-being, readers are encouraged to take regular strolls through the pearl, though a sidebar cautions readers to limit each stroll to less than an hour. These strolls promise to cleanse the mind of worries and the body of toxins, especially if the perambulator performs this ritual in the nude. Nudity figures prominently in a number of these prescriptions. This is exactly what you need. There's an entire section devoted to cures for men who are struggling to perform their marital obligations.
Excuse me, sir. I believe you've been perusing that particular volume long enough. If you'd like to continue reading, I must insist you buy it.
Several maps have been attached to a bulletin board hidden inside the alcove. They're held up by small pins. The board has come loose from one corner. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda, a map of Revachol, and a map of Martinaise. The north coast of a verdant island is shattered by the delta of a river. It is the River Esperance. Countless bridges put the shards back together, connecting city blocks to river islands. La Delta says a great artificial heart in the center, teeming with life forms and construction. To the east, rolling hillsides, Le Jardin, Stella Marie, the suburbs of Saint-Baptiste, swallowed up into the megacity. They sound rich to you. This is Revachol East. Hudon, it's somewhere to live, not bad. Then there's Jamrock. It's bad. People shouldn't live there, but they do. Then Forburg. It's almost as bad and much larger. Then Coal City. It's the worst. It's so small you can't even see it on the map. No, wait. There it is, north of Jamrock, the strip of coast next to the Greater Revachol Industrial Harbour. It looks downright despondent. It's almost Coal City, to be honest. No, this is somewhere to be. This is all you have, but it's still something. Streets and sodium lights, the sky, the world, you're still alive. This large map displays archipelagos. You see a constellation of small dots on the light blue emptiness of the Insulindic Ocean. The largest in the northeast is La Caillou. You are here. Another far away in the southwest, Seminese Islands, Ile de Fantôme, Ozon, Laurentide, Face à la Mer, archipelagos, North Arcade Islands, all just specks of dust on the vastness of the Insulindic. On the edges of the map, the color fades into a blur of dotted lines, black and white. disintegrating into mathematics. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north coast of Caillou in a bookstore. It's you. You can, on Caillou, Revachon, a single black star, on Ozon, Fondelier, and Vimandu, on archipelagos, Croyan Moran, Villiers, on Seminine, Olduvai, and on Laurentide, Deora of the Seven Seas. 850 million people live on these little dots, an oceanic world of culture and commerce torn apart by history. The ocean breaks apart into a tangle of cosines and azimuths, all pointing into pale nothingness. Mwindi is the north azimuth. Grad is the northeast azimuth. Samara is the east azimuth. Seo is the west azimuth. Isolas, they're called. Connections to other worlds. Words past the Insulindian, unknown to you. You only know you've never been there. You have little idea what they are. Distant stars, gods, but looking at them makes you feel almost non-existent. Whatever they are, the Isolas are immeasurably large compared to you, and very, very far away. Perhaps they are gods, gods of distance and outer dust. It's not really a map, it's a tourist thing. A picture postcard with buildings on it, drawn from an isometric perspective. A date in the upper right corner says 48. Still, it's detailed. Could be pretty useful for scouting ahead. You see the jagged boxes of an industrial harbor, even the whirling in rags there.
I'm sorry, officer. The map of Martinez is the only one available. The other two are not for sale anymore. And besides, you could scarcely afford them. They're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though. That old thing? It's an out-of-date map of a tourist location that never was, from when some design studio people tried to spruce the place up 4 or 5 years ago. They also renovated the horse statue, set up those coin-operated viewers, and designed the new street lamps. They didn't get that far, for some reason. A shame the project never got going. Would be nice if someone fixed Martinez up. All these ruins are bad for business. Always good to be informed of your surroundings.
The worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez, with directions to appropriately touristy locations. Year 48 resides on the upper right corner. Your finger moves through the various streets, across Rue de Saint-Ghislain and Rue Saint-Sipar, over Saint-Brun and Martinez North. Finally coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently standing, although the map gives no such indication itself.
Take out the hanged man.
Welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People. My name is Plaisance. Be welcome, and please take responsibility for the energy you bring into this space. Sir, don't be ridiculous. I certainly will not give you money. I would be doing you a grave psychic disfavour. One has to earn one's success, even if one is a police officer. Handouts are nothing but manipulation. All they do is make you dependent. I am the proudest owner of our little shop of culture.
She has fine-tuned her voice to find the most welcoming approach for attracting new customers.
Spamming chat.
It doesn't work.
F. 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 F.
Annette, yes, my daughter. I hope she wasn't slacking off again with her nose in science fiction. Tell me, was she at her post doing her job like a proper girl? Wonderful. Did you talk to her? Great. On a scale of 1 to 10, how compelled were you to buy books after talking with her? My precious, her dedication brings joy to my heart. If you have children, I hope they turn out as great as my Annette. God. I've told her not to do that. It's such a disgusting habit. She'll get over it. Anxiety is a part of life. She can, if she has enough willpower. This is what's called growing pains. Life isn't easy. Life doesn't give breaks.
Come on, ma'am. It's obvious she can't do anything about it. You are placing an unnecessary burden on a young child.
Oh no. Hold on. I need to invite her inside and apologise. She must be freezing out there. There. I don't know what to say to you. My husband, he tries to teach me business lessons. I have what my mother called a dull mind. All this stress. Yes, I'm afraid so. A real treat she is. It would be nice if she had... No, we couldn't have afforded more children, really. Not in this...
A glimmer of sadness blinks through the well-crafted exterior.
We're quite busy people, you know, my husband and I. Quite busy. Children are a lot of work. You don't look like a father, so I'm sorry. I'm sure you do understand. Yes, my husband is a successful entrepreneur east of the river. If only he were more involved in the business we're running up here. No matter. Soon we'll both be off for Grand Couronne. It's a proper place to live. One of the most peaceful neighbourhoods east of Jamrock. You may know it for its massive housing project. Most of the buildings are empty at the moment. It's a great opportunity to get ahead of the crowds. He made the initial investment. Since then, he's been what you might call a silent partner. She's been too busy helping me here. So she studied at home this trimester. This is a temporary solution. I assure you, I of all people understand the importance of education. She will be back in school the moment the store takes off.
And hell freezes over? Never mind. It's not a good topic to get into.
Goodness, you were already doing good, browsing the shelves. Why'd you stop? Don't you feel compelled? Go, go. Get back there. The books await you. Everything is on the shelves. Take a look yourself. The shelves compel you, don't they?
curtains, tattered with age and covered in dust, hang before you. Just as you're about to pull apart the curtains, the petrified voice of the shop owner cries out once.
Sir, don't touch that. I told you it's off limits for the customers. Parapsychologically speaking, we're done if you decide to open them. I won't be held responsible for the consequences. It's too dangerous.
She looks away, mumbling. Why is everyone always messing with the curtains? Why can't they just buy books like normal people?
No, it's just a storeroom for the employees, I told you. Now please step away from the curtains. You do? My God, even more reasons not to mess with the curtains. Just step away, dear sir. Why? It's not like anyone was killed there. I am sorry, I don't mean to be so impolite. Just please don't go there. I can't allow that. You'll only make things worse and unleash the powers. Thank you. Let's just talk about this first, all right? There's no reason for you to venture into the unknown.
There is something mysterious about the curtains. Be careful. The curtains, tattered with age and covered in dust, hang before you, as if taunting you.
I'm sorry, sir. I can't talk right now.
You just can't win. Out of the rain and into the gutter.
Math. It's really difficult. Like, really. They say you need it to get rich. Better than standing outside in the cold. Oh, I found something while you were away. I thought this would fit you. Like, thanks for helping out. Not me. The city, I mean. Like a detective does. Just what Dick Mullen would ask. I got it from behind the curtains. I'm not really supposed to go there. Yes, just like the one Dick Mullen wears all the time. You'll look way more serious with that. Right, I have to get back to my homework now.
The pockets of these new jeans are perfect for sticking your hand into. Makes you look cool, calm, and collected. As your hand enters the pocket, your fingers brush against something, soft, yet crinkly. Hey, it's a chewing gum wrapper. It reminds you of the fruity juice of apricots. You should inspect it closer if you have time. Something about the wrapper's texture is familiar. By the way, the raw materials were most likely exported from Seaguy, the apricot suzerainty, and processed in Sur-le-Clay into the apricot-flavored chewing gum loved by kids of today and yesterday. Something about it is familiar. is in a deep slumber. Perhaps he's on his way to where you just came from, into the...
Hello again, sweetie.
Can I help you? Do I have a shaker in my hand? Is this a
It's not a shaker. It's nothing. He's holding nothing.
Am I wearing a little bow tie? Am I wearing a bow tie and doing this? Am I smiling? Do you see me smiling and shaking my little shaker? No. Do you know why? Because I'm not a bartender. I'm a cafeteria manager. Is there anything else?
Play it calm. This man needs to understand you need a drink to help the community deal with police stuff.
Oh, well, in that case, let me pour you a nice, big, refreshing marinella. Do you want that out of a glass or a pineapple? Don't be an imbecile. I'm not going to serve you a marinella. I have work to do and broken things to fix. If that was all, I'd like to return to it. Another thing. Great. I love those. Yes. Yes. Have you got it? A lot. A lot. For the room, drinks, and broken window, 130 real. Well... Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow.
He's not sorry about his behavior for your sake. Now that you have money, he really wants to make sure you're not angry with him.
I'll unlock the electronic lock to your room. All the doors lock automatically at 9 p.m. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you?
Crinkled chewing gum wrapper. The worn label reads, Tutti Frutti. It smells faintly of apricots, with a barely noticeable twinge of cinnamon. You feel compelled to point out that there's nothing fruity about cinnamon. It's a spice derived from tree bark. Good question. There is no answer or secret phrase written on the inside of the wrapper. Yet you're drawn to it. Drawn by regret. Stop before you hurt yourself with a Tutti Frutti wrapper. Throw it away, please. Can a used wrapper shrug? Seems like that's what the wrapper is doing somehow. This is not about flowers or bark. What is this about? Why are you looking at this wrapper? You carefully fold the wrapper into a square. before putting it back into your pocket, lovingly even, despite the strange feeling of regret. The door is closed. Still no answer. Still nothing. This door can only be opened with a key of... You should pick that fat, juicy cigarette butt from the tray, light it up, and smoke the living shit out of it. The living shit. Your mesolimbic reward pathway does not mince words. It wants smokes. Who knows what you are? A monster, a murderer, the gnome of Jeroma? You feel like a smoker, especially when you look at that juicy, succulent, seductive cigarette stub, still smoldering deliciously. How very astute of you. This renders it ineffectual. You should look for a whole cigarette, or better yet, an entire pack. Strike that. A carton. Make sure they're all healthy and able-bodied. Then smoke them all. Good. They'll make you stronger and better. You're too old to be cool now. But find cigarettes, smoke them, blam. Instantly a cool renegade man. A mystical red dragon with smoke rising from his nostrils. Plus, smoking then gives massive bonuses. You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimpled lock. The door does not budge. The trash container stand. The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste. There's nothing more of interest in this sludge. You see, milk and egg rest with one broke. A box falls into pieces in your hands. Not much to see here anymore. Just a burnt apron and some kitchen towels. The container sounds a muffled gong. Tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught on the railing. Tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught on the railing. Tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still... Tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught on the railing. As you leap in the air, a chilly breeze engulfs you, sharpening your senses. Ankles tingling from the tension, blood roaring in your ears. You are ready for your rendezvous with the concrete pavement below. As the concrete floor welcomes you, you realize it's been a while since you felt so alive, alert, capable.
I knew you could do it. My climbing down might not have been as disco as your jump, but at least we can explore the harbor now.
With your feet firmly planted on the concrete, the noise of the harbor rushes back in. An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note on the side says, "Tokens unavailable due to strike. Use change." The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friesel. From the sides of his head, a pair of white antlers spread to the corners of the cover. Because Friesel was incompetent, foolish, and cruel. In short, the embodiment of everything the communards wished to overthrow. It's satire, you see. To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. Just column after column of closely set text, interrupted occasionally by little doodles. After rifling the pages with your thumb several times, you return. The magazine is divided into several sections: international developments, Kunst und Kultur, and local concerns. Just inside the cover, there's also an editor's note. Comrade, as you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's immortal expression, "Du cristal à la fumée." This was his way of describing the way the rigid, crystalline structures of capitalist ideology turn to smoke under communism. But, like the structures of capitalist ideology, we too are at risk of going à la fumée, unlike many publications which are content to spoon-feed their readers reassuring drivel. La Fumée is committed to telling the radical truth, even when that truth may drive away potential subscribers. So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on contemporary politics, culture, and international affairs, please consider subscribing today.
What do you expect? It was laying around the office of the Debarders Union. They're probably bankrolling the thing.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you. This section includes a long, tedious critique of the latest round of free trade negotiations between the EPIS nations and the Free State of Semenine. You also skip over an article about heavy fuel oil smuggling along the Messina border. Something about bear wrestling in Samara. Book riots in Yugograd. Face it, you really aren't interested in foreign affairs. You flip back to the front of the magazine. It takes a moment, but gradually it dawns on you that Kunst und Kultur must mean As you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays, as well as a brief artist spot. The main feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tournée, a critical Mazovian. This so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject's evident hostility to her interviewer. You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season, maybe sprinkled with some nice anecdotes about a few of the more colorful drivers. Instead, you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the politically problematic aspects of Tip Top Tournée. Where to even start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships, and then there's the practically criminal emphasis, so all of it, basically. Oddly enough, this article has 2 bylines, Nasteb Encolada Bernal and Excellus Buka. Under capitalism, the article says, every pursuit has its price. Every pleasure, even one as elemental as the joy of racing others around a track, is reduced to an advertising. Thus, the so-called tournée becomes a competition between increasingly meaningless brand signifiers. Your discount laundry detergent racing against a pack of Astra cigarettes, or even a fritter. And that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise of random, spectacular violence, audiences would quickly lose interest. At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for. You see, one cannot avoid the conclusion that Tip Top Tournée is simply the apotheosis of spectacular entertainment under capitalism.
Ah, come on. Can this article read your mind? Well, there you have it. No reason to get hung up on the pretentious... If I had to wager, I'd say they've never even seen the inside of a motor, much less a motor race. I take whatever they write with a large grain.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. Unsurprisingly, much of this section is taken up with articles declaring unqualified support for the dock workers. You skim the headlines. Paint the harbor red and white. Martinez tames the wild pines. Finally, there's a brief article by the writer, G. Martin, accusing the owner of the Cape Side apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent. One of the editorials proclaims that the more the forces of reaction attempt to crush the body, the more you flip back to the front of the magazine. On second glance, someone has forgotten to properly close one of the drawers.
It's unfortunate for the Union to just leave the...
Let's see what's inside, he thinks. The drawer opens smoothly. Inside is a well-organized hundreds of documents containing logistical data. Two kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming into Revachol from the outside world, from Muindi, and the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol. Couron, Coal City, La Delta, and Jamrock are listed among... It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry. The drawer slides shut.
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year. We can pick up where we left off tomorrow morning.
The file cabinet stands steady as ever, and whatever's hidden here is hidden well. Concentration isn't enough. Only a trained accountant with a background in logistics would... It appears to be a to-do list. Remember, Leo, Everard's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everard's plants, sweep office floor. All items on the list have been crossed out, and the note itself is crumpled.
Everard Clare, probably. The head of the Debarders Union. One of his...
The special borscht seems a bit odd. What is so special about this borscht? Code for drugs? Booze? Blood? Remember, Leo, Everard's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everard's plants, sweep office floor. More. All items on the list have been crossed out, and the drawer slides. This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, Renee, listen, it's okay to take a few minutes to yourself. Sit down and have a breather. Snow is quietly covering the numerous wine bottles and cigarette butts on the ground. Someone partied really hard here.
Well, yes, I think we can say with relative confidence that it was you. I am.
The lyrics to this container song are being made up. The accent is so thick, it's impossible not to notice he's Ubi, from the vanishing peninsula of Ubisund on Mo. A large table with two huge vacuum-insulated thermal coffee dispensers. Someone has forgotten a small plastic card. Next, you snatch out the red plastic card. It features a black contour of a crane lifting a container. The name, Etienne Bogart, is written in the middle. Below it, in smaller text, member of the board. It comes with a magnet. The tear machine stands in the corner. Your bottles clunk into the machine. Do you know what you should do with that money, kiddo? You should buy more alcohol. A colorful
Again, I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health. Here you go, mister.
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy Grad-made machine is well kept. The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's... The driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of peculiar paraphernalia. Proclamations about honor, strength, and purity are glued to various panels. A large metal pendant hangs from the rear-view mirror. The pendant features, it is the seal of Royalist-era Revachol. The back end of the cabin has a small perch to sleep, large ashtrays. There are several suns and wheels sewn into the curtains. A book with ragged edges catches your notice. The front cover features a large, muscular man. The title...
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy. Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is. Drapes it all over his machine.
The woman still has her eyes fixed on the photograph in her hands. In the background, the radio plays.
If you want her attention, you may need to be more forceful.
Where am I? Who are you? Never mind. I remember now. I'm still stuck in that traffic jam in the 50s. Back in Methka, during the time of the revolution, the sidewalks and cafes are filled with young people. I was on my way to see a new Boyadero picture starring Gabriel until you came along, that is. While you, people, were tearing each other apart over your petty little revolution.
The Republic of Mesk is a massive confederation on the Isola of Muindi, the world's largest state by territory. It's a petro-state, a constitutional monarchy, and, as of recently, an outcast.
This is Gabriel Buenguerro.
A strikingly handsome man looks straight at you, his head crowned with a wide-brim hat. His hair is dark as an oil slick, and his jaw the most perfect. This man's got a hold over her, even 50 years later.
He was the biggest star of his day. Girls used to faint in the aisles of cinema whenever he came on the screen.
In all likelihood, it's a world that's only ever existed in her mind.
Someone was. They are someone's memories, boy. What difference does it make? They're beautiful. That is all that matters. Beautiful and true. Why not, Harife? It's not like I have anything better to do in this hellhole.
She's just a distracted old woman. We should maybe let her get...
So he doesn't think she's a smuggler?
You hear that, Lowman? I don't think your partner likes you spending too much time with me.
Nothing.
He doesn't want your frail mind caught up in something here. Something unconnected to the case. But connected to this woman tuning out like...
Oh, don't worry about me. I'm one of the best communers around. I drive routes no one... Lomonosov's Land, Udashnaya Zemlya, Western Plain, the Transcatolia Magistral, you for 1A, Adestradas du Mirador, all the good ones, the deep trenches, where the bluebirds fly. Irmao, I already am dust. Diamonds? Of course not. But whatever stupid things they put in the lorry, I imagine. I quit concerning myself with that a long time ago. Besides, I don't drive the lorry for the cargo.
She says that as if something narcotic is the real reason.
Then it's contraband, Lowman. What? Do you want to take an old woman in?
Bad hand Herminel dildos. Bad hand strangled 300 people. What can I say? Some people just really like strangling people.
What do I need drugs for, Lowman? What I see, what I feel, the great adversary, no drugs can compare. If you don't know,
Maybe if she thought you're corrupt.
you're mad, Lowman. What of it? Maybe. Probably not. Makes no difference to me either way. Just this month, I made half a dozen trips from Saramiriza to Grad, on the U41A. What do you think they take from Saramiriza to Grad? No, Lowman, diamonds. Easy. He's the skinny man who thinks he's a poet. Never trust a poet. Also, he's the only one I can see from here.
That's correct. There is no visibility of any of the others.
Where do you want me to go? This isn't so bad. I can listen to music, or the seagulls. Or I can just relax and let my mind carry...
I think we're done here, no?
Yes, go.
Greetings on this fine night. What brings you here? Is it? Spring is capricious, yes. The pawn shop is always open.
Feeling warm and enthralled by the movement of light, while the mind continues to race forward. Lucky bastard. He's probably on Pyrrolidon, a drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes your eyes turn yellow. He's taken for mental and emotional, not physical pain these days. The People's Pile was a Type U particle decay generator that failed immediately after entering service, releasing radioactive waste into River Esperance. A primitive nuclear reactor, also called a pile. Construction began during the Commune of Revachol. The people continued work on it after the Commune fell. They wanted a cheap source of energy for Revachol West. Needless to say, things didn't work out. An emergency valve defect resulted in steam pressure blowing the turbine, taking the fuel containment vessel up in the explosion. Both the faulty design and lack of finances contributed to the catastrophe. So much bitterness. On the patch, gamma radiation line. Yeah, you gotta get in on those vortices, my man. It's almost like he's worried for you. The lieutenant steps away, pretending to admire some of the knickknacks on display. Go ahead then, he thinks. As long as you can walk straight, he won't be your knock. But he won't be thrilled about this either. Yes, darling. That's the coalition government ordained Parolidon. Straight into your gut.
Fuck does Kuno care? You found Kuno's secret door to Kuno's secret shack. It was closed for 5,000 years. How the fuck did you get in? Shit. Get the fuck out of here. You can't do that.
You can't do that, Kuno.
Pigs can't displace. Can't do that teleport shit. How did you like it in there, pig old boy? Kuno's got a lot of cool shit there, right? Oh, that? Kuno decapitates pigs. That's just a Kuno demo tape. is this shit? Fucking on yourself. This is weird.
Fuck your shit back to normal.
Well played. No one saw that coming.
That's where Kuno gets his daily hit of electric. Kuno Shazam. Kuno rides the fucking lightning in there, pig.
Bet you'd like to ride the lightning too, wouldn't you? You feel tired and old, but you could have that sparkle in your eyes.
It's a vitamin, pig. Don't you know anything?
You could use some.
Yeah, it's the mag. You fucking need that shit to stay on top of your game. Kuno goes through like a tube a day, rips mag like a motherfucker, and you...
Oh, don't teach him, Kuno! He's gonna use it against you, Kuno!
You're not getting this, pig. It completely takes away the hangover. It's like you didn't do anything. Like you stayed home playing with your choo-choo.
Fuck you, pig! Don't do mag! You're gonna OD and you're gonna fucking die!
Good call, Pigmeister. Don't come and talk to Kuno about his kingdom. Kuno doesn't fucking...
This is the door to the room you redecorated.
Just a moment. We should talk about our progress on the investigation. Let's go out to the balcony. Now then, we should talk about the investigation. But I also feel you're a bit hazy on the RCM. Our role here, our rights, our jurisdiction, basically. I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a...
Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
You mean this? This isn't cool. It's an...
Keeping the habit within the parameters he's given himself takes a lot of focus. It would be easier, yet, were he to quit, he would lose the cool factor.
You're cold, detective. Again, I only have exactly one every night. You're cold, detective. Again, I only have exactly one every night. Yes, it's been a long and eventful day. Well, you were so hungover that you couldn't keep it down when we approached the hanged man. And there's still much to do at the crime scene too. We didn't search it thoroughly enough. It's not my job to evaluate your method. We didn't get to meet Eva Claire, but we did get into the harbor. It'll be easier to reach. We tried to interview the Wild Pines rep, but she asked us to do something for her. I have a feeling Joyce knows how dangerous the situation really is.
If Kim is emphasizing something this much, it really must.
Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice? It's impressive, especially for a man your age, and in those hills. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green, goes with the orange. They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule. The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. Yes, although indirectly. Officers of the RCM have been... We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station cold sleep. You can't. Though, as you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, you have to supply compelling evidence for why... Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal affair. We don't convict. We arrest and send them to Coalition Government Corps. The Coalition Government. The RCM was formed by the Coalition Government to restore order in the international zone. Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to be sentimental if you like. Either way, the Moralist leases...
Or if they think you do.
The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed. Okay. They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPI. What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago. Others say that...
Those others say they continue the humanist project set forth by Dolores.
Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you.
Something kind and usual. Something almost, something ominous. Something like the dark blue, serious color of the early night sky above.
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look, do you? In fact, we would need them even if you didn't think that way. We are in what is called the twilight of international law. The laws we claim to enforce come from the MI. Without them, we are simply vigilantes. Sadly, it is what we already are to the people of Martinez, most of them at least, especially the Union.
This soldier is the highlight of the day for me, he thinks. This little stick right here.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different inland, in Jamrock and the It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union, to the company. No, we run this city. West of the river is RCM land. It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works. Our systems... Me too. But I wouldn't count on any drastic change.
He is very tired, but the dark circles under his eyes make him look younger, not older.
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
The window stands broken in its frame. You see some lights shimmering outside, but it's difficult. The fan stands still. The switch must be broken, because nothing happens. A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face. The bed is cold and not particularly inviting. The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out and finally close your eyes. And then sleep doesn't come. And then sleep doesn't come. Obviously, you're in bed with your eyes closed, but maybe it's the bed's fault. Its synthetic filling has separated into hard lumps. The pillowcase smells of alcohol and sweat and grease. It barely covers your toes. Under your thrumming eyelids, you see a dizzying array of colors. You won't get off this carousel quite so easily. It's a little better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Something to do with, what was it that the lieutenant said? Union? And it's gone again. Your thoughts lost between the slowing brain waves. Your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you until your eyelids.
Of your childhood. Do you remember your wife's hand on your face? That's right, funky baby. And you just stood there. One hand on the bottle and the other on your dick. What, tell me, where are your friends? Human beings have friends, Harry boy. Where the hell are yours? No, It's gone. 3 times gone. You failed, Elysium. Everything. The Pale and the Isolas on the surface. The outer magnetosphere. Burning, furious truth. 8,000. You really dropped the ball, Harry. 4.6 billion people, and you failed every single one of them. You really fucked up. You're not coming back from shit. Thrashing around in that high conductivity state of yours, bumping into things and acting like you're trying to what? I can't hear you. This is just a word dream now. Jumbled up
Something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad. This dry, this unnourishing. There's something wrong with your thoughts. Some kind of new type of hangover. Oh yes, party boy. And it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Here it comes too. So soon already. A silent alarm goes off in your head like clockwork. Barely let you sleep at all. Time to go to work in the shit factory.
Good going, buddy. Really? Because you feel even worse this morning than you did last. You mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? You can't be a detective like this. That's not really true. Your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system, Buster. You're too weak to say no now. Waking up is the worst part. Maybe somewhere down the line you could decline. Speed is a potent central nervous system stimulant. It kept you propped up all day yesterday, despite your debilitating hangover. How else? It's power, man. It's professionalism. It makes you feel like you're young again and ready to detect, ready to go to war against the world. Of course, Martinez is Speed Central. You and Speed will be happy again. You will make her come home.